Now at 9, repairs are underway in southeast Kansas after Wednesday morning storm left a trail of damage, including downed trees and power lines. Plus, some of those downed trees landed on vehicles. We talked to local experts for insurance advice. And lawmakers assure safety improvements despite traffic as I-44 kicks off in Springfield.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Emergency management officials released damage totals following Wednesday's EF1 tornado that touched down in Crawford County, Kansas, and tore through communities in Vernon County, Missouri. This is KOAM News at 9. I'm Anthony Saviello. Repairs continue into the weekend after the morning storms left behind a trail of destruction. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more on the damage reports where the tornado was first spotted in Crawford County.
This is the front yard of Girard resident Roxanne Nutt. She says her husband noticed the damage first. The storm uprooted the tree in her front yard that her granddaughter's swing was on, but she says she's thankful her house wasn't damaged. The Crawford County Emergency Manager, Quentin Parsons, says they received reports from some residents along 47 Highway in the Girard area with damage to their homes as a result of the storm. He says on Wednesday, his team and the Crawford County Sheriff sprung into action to make sure residents were okay.
Then received reports from some residents out on 47 Highway that might have received some damage to their homes. So Sheriff Tomasi actually went out there and started checking on residents.
Parsons says they also had reports of a few power lines down and leaning over in the Arcadia area, along with some trees down throughout the Girard area.
So Sheriff Tomasi was our first one on scene. He just was going around checking on the houses.
Parsons says there were 7 reports of homes damaged, mostly shingle damage. He also says one resident living on 47 Highway was injured when his chimney fell into his home and a piece of it landed on him.
Talked to the residents. It looked like the chimney went through the roof, and it is an open ceiling now.
And Parsons encourages residents to sign up for weather alerts.
Make sure you're signed up for the national weather alerts. We have the new Genesis system for Crawford County where Crawford County residents will get emergency alerts from weather or any other big emergencies.
Reporting in Crawford County, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Parsons, Kansas says there were reports of minor injuries after a chimney fell into a home and hit the leg of a man sitting below. He did receive stitches. Authorities in Vernon County have some good news to report following the devastation of Wednesday's tornado. Utility companies in the area have succeeded in restoring power to the county, though they say some off and on issues will continue for the time being. The restoration comes as the county continues to repair and rebuild. Today, authorities released official damage numbers. Totals for the county show the storm destroyed 55 buildings. 7 of those are in the city of Nevada alone. Let's go ahead and check in with meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney for a first look at weather.
Well, we did see a lot of damage from these earlier in the week storms, but now we're heading into the rest of the weekend and we're just seeing a lot of flood risks following all of these damaged buildings from the storm. So taking a look, this is our last 48 hours of rainfall out there near Monette, around Monette and out to the east. We're going to see over 4 inches. You can see it kind of all in that area, all the way down to Bentonville, all the way out to Branson. Now, Joplin area got about 2 inches of rain, and we're kind of seeing 2 to 3 inches in our Missouri counties. That's going to be north of I-44, so we're sticking around that 2 inches range. However, out there near Liberal received about 5 inches of rain. Now you can see the further northwest we go, less than an inch of rain out there. Now, as we continue into the rest of the weekend, we are going to see another inch to 2 inches of rain along and south of I-44. Not a huge threat, but we are still watching that flood watch until 7 p.m. and a flood warning all the way through Monette and those counties down to Bentonville as well. Now, continuing into that, we do have a few more rain showers tonight and in tomorrow. I'm going to have those details coming up.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. Well, since we had our fair share of severe weather in the 4 states, a lot of tree limbs and other debris get scattered across lawns. But if that tree falls on your home or vehicle, which insurance company fits the bill? KOAM's Lonnie Walton spoke with local experts for advice.
I've had several of those happen. Most of them are live trees.
Richard Lippett is the owner of Lippett Insurance in Grove, Oklahoma. With over 39 years of experience in the insurance industry, he says he deals with falling tree claims like the back of his hand.
Neighbor across the fence, tree blows over, lands on his roof and damages the fence, and he wants to know if the neighbor should fix it. He thinks the neighbor should fix it.
And there may be others who may think that as well, but according to Lippitt, if it falls on your property, you're out of luck.
It could be a tree half a mile away from a tornado that fell on your house. If you want your house or your car covered, you need to have insurance on your own house and your own car.
And since two insurance companies are usually involved in these incidents, we got a second opinion. Andy Queen from Farmers Insurance in Joplin says,
it falls over and it's due from storm, wind, or something like that, a tornado, lightning, something like that. It's on your own insurance.
And although it is your responsibility most of the time if a tree falls on your property, our expert says there are some times when it's not.
It is dead, and you've noticed it and you told the neighbor or whatever.
There's possibly some negligence on your neighbor's side, and he could be responsible for that tree falling on your property.
If it makes it any more easier for you, our experts say the insurance companies will deal with it anyway. Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Queen and Lippitt say you can't find out where tree limbs or any debris truly come from all the time, which is probably why your insurance is reliable for your own belongings. A MoDOT groundbreaking ceremony kicked off the Forward 44 project this morning. A third lane will be added to the interstate between US 65 and Kansas Expressway in Springfield. 3 bridges will also be replaced along with other improvements. State lawmakers who attended the ceremony say that while there will be traffic backups, the safety improvements will be worth it.
My predecessor, Sonia Anderson, who works for Congressman Burleson, she lost her aunt just north of the intersection of 13 and 44. So Jeannie Rhodes is one person that I periodically, when I'm driving through that intersection, I'm thinking about. And then more recently, just a few thousand feet down 44, one of the most popular teachers at Hillcrest, a science teacher named Jen Bryant, also lost her life.
State lawmakers say the improvement will be a big economic impact. The project is scheduled to be done by May 2027. Coming up, the markets shake under the impact of a tariff war.
Another brutal day for Wall Street as the markets react to Trump's tariffs. I'm Rebecca Castor in Washington with the latest coming up.
But up first, a new study says taking a walk in your neighborhood can be a good thing. We'll explain. Being healthy should be a lifelong goal, but as the weather gets warmer and vacations may be looming, you may have found motivation to shed pounds. But during colder months, in today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither talks to a sports medicine doctor about what to do now to get fit for summer.
You might be eyeing that swimsuit and the number on the scale. If you have a fitness goal to reach before summer, start now.
It's very reasonable to see weight loss in the first few weeks. However, in order to really put on muscle mass and develop muscle tone, that often develops over more of a longer time period, roughly 8 to 12 weeks.
Dr. Matthew Anastasi with Mayo Clinic says health should be a long-term goal, but if you've suddenly found motivation, set yourself up for success by eating a well-balanced diet, a combination of fruits and veggies and lean proteins, while avoiding processed foods and added sugars. Next, be physically active. 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week is recommended. And switch it up. Do cardio some days and strength and resistance training other days.
I think the biggest key is to not try to go from 0 to 60 right away. We often see a lot of soft tissue injuries the beginning part of the year because people start the year off with a New Year's resolution and they go from not being active at all and being rather sedentary to trying to run 5 miles per day.
To stay motivated, Anastasi says to build exercise into your schedule. He says getting good quality sleep is also key, allowing your body to recharge. And remember to stay hydrated. Avoiding alcohol can also help.
There can be a lot of unnecessary calories and sugar in alcohol. So when you're looking at trying to lose weight, those can be working against you.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
There's more evidence that exercise is good for your mind as well as your body. A study by the University of Birmingham found that elderly people who exercise often performed better in cognitive tests. The study's authors say physical fitness reduces mental fatigue, and a sedentary lifestyle speeds up the mental aging process. Living in a walkable neighborhood is good for your heart. A study by the European Society of Cardiology found that people who live in neighborhoods that aren't easily walkable had a 5% higher chance of cardiovascular disease compared to those who live in a walkable area. It's recommended that people get 150 minutes of moderate physical activity every week. Lindsay is next with a complete look at your forecast. And later, one American car maker has a new incentive for its workers. That's coming up.
Well, we've been seeing a ton of rainfall in the area, and we've got more to go. Let's go ahead and take a look outside downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. Now, I might still be getting a few sprinkles out there, but you can see downtown Joplin camera, a little rainy. As we head into the rest of the evening, though, most of the rain is going to stay south and out to the east, starting to push out of here. We have had some hail reports. We even had a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings down there south of Monette, but rest of us have stayed pretty clear. A few rain showers, but overall not a severe threat today. Now, as we get into Saturday, heavy rain starts to push in, but again, no severe threat there. So we're just watching a round of heavy rainfall moving in after about 6 a.m. You can see 8 to noon, even about 1 to 2. We're going to see this massive rain shower kind of push into the area. Might get some thunder showers in there, but again, not going to be a severe threat, but it's going to be pretty rainy all day. Temperatures start off in the mid to lower 40s, and we stay there. We're only getting up to about 46, 47 tomorrow. As that rain pushes through, it is going to keep us rather cool. Now, starting by 7 a.m., there's light showers pushing in, but the heavier rainfall across all of our areas moving in closer to about 9 a.m. You can see we've already had a ton of rain south of I-44, flood watches and warnings south of Monette all the way to Bella Vista as well. That stays in effect through Saturday. Now, extra rainfall is not really going to help. We're expecting this to be another 1 to 2 inches of rainfall south of I-44. It'll continue to push in. You can see those northwestern counties not seeing as much rain. And then we're getting into Sunday morning, where we see temperatures dropping down near freezing, and then a few more rain showers try and push in, along with kind of mixing over to a little bit of snowfall. Now, none of the snow is going to stick. Temperatures warm right back up as we push through the day into the low to mid 40s, so we're going to be above freezing, and then all that rain clears out. So by Sunday mid-afternoon, we're finally out of the rain showers, and we're back into a week. We're going to see a nice long stretch of sunny days, but we've got another roughly inch of rain, half an inch to an inch of rain along and just north of I-44. South of I-44, 1 to 2 inches, but north we're looking pretty good. Now, temperatures are going to be much colder throughout the entire weekend. 47 for the high on Saturday, 45 for the high on Sunday, and then overnight lows, that's going to be Saturday night and Sunday night, around and below freezing. So it is going to be pretty cold the next couple of days. You can see 33 for our low Saturday night, 30 for our low Sunday night into Monday morning. But we go back into that warming trend Monday through Wednesday. Another little system coming through late Wednesday night into Thursday, dropping our temperatures about 5-6 degrees. And then back into another warming trend Friday through the weekend. We're getting into the mid 70s by Friday and then 80s by the weekend. And you can see all of those sunny skies. So we basically packed like 2-3 weeks worth of rainfall into 4 days.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing.
And it feels like we've packed like 2 or 3 seasons into a week.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit of cold temperatures, a little bit of snow. We really, I mean,
we're hitting it on
in 1 week. You know, if it stays like that and we've got another couple of weeks of nice weather, you know.
Yeah. You never know.
I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Lindsay. Well, as creeks and rivers rise, state parks in the Ozarks are warning fishermen and campers to be ready to quickly move out. Reagan DiTrolio reports from Roaring River State Park near Cassville, which is definitely roaring right now.
We planned a weekend of fishing, and it just so happened that Mother Nature doesn't always cooperate.
Tom Clayton and his two brothers are longtime Boy Scouts who still love camping, so they're prepared for the rain. They hope others are ready too.
Make sure your tent's in a nice dry spot that's draining, because there's puddles of water there, and they're going to get deeper and bigger. Make sure there's no maybe a tree that might fall down or limbs that might be unstable above you.
Mike Boozy Cruz with Roaring River State Park says after the huge flood here in 2021, the park has become more weather equipped.
We've also got a good partnership with Berry County Emergency Management, which I've already been on the phone with both of them this morning. We're all watching the weather. We went under a flash flood warning this morning until 5 p.m. So when we see things like that happen, we try to get ahead of it. We'll get out, contacted all the campers. We've already contacted all of our campers this morning.
Last month, the park installed this storm siren. It's also had this rain gauge for many years.
This is one of the tools we use to monitor how much flow is going through the stream.
He says if the flooding gets unmanageable, park rangers will let campers know it's time to evacuate.
When we say, be ready to move, they need to take that seriously. And it's one of the things we try to stress to our campers is that, when the park does go under a flash flood warning, it does mean something serious, and we're definitely keeping our eye on it.
And for avid campers like Clayton, he's ready to move out if he has to and hopes other campers will do the same to keep everyone safe.
If they sound the siren, I think you're just going to have to get as much as you can. You really need to leave when they say it could only be a matter of minutes, maybe before the water starts coming down the river.
Well, if the flooding gets so bad the park closes, rangers can use the siren as an intercom to let campers know where to evacuate to. Coming up, NATO weighs in on the future of Greenland.
The U.S. is making the case for Greenland's independence at a high-stakes NATO summit. I'm Mallory Rivera in Washington, and I've got the details coming up.
A community in Missouri braces for impact in anticipation of fresh tariffs. Nija Hood has details.
Well, it's scary. I mean, that is sort of our lifeline, and I want it to stay.
Nellie Bell's Diner has sat in the heart of Claycomo since 1965. It's just less than 2 miles up the road from the Ford assembly plant, which has fueled their business for decades.
You said Coke. If they're down or laid off, they can't come in and eat. If they're not getting overtime, we're not getting the younger group that is depending on that overtime and excited to get it. What are you going to have to drink?
The diner serves staff from the plant as a meeting place for people in the community to gather and enjoy a hot meal.
What are you going to get?
As tariffs have driven up costs of food, they are finding business has slowed down.
I just have such a loyal following of the older people, in the village. And some of them are just coming in now 2 or 3 times a week and maybe just getting a cup of coffee or biscuits and gravy, just because of the price.
I'll do the ham and beans. They say nervous chatter about the future could be heard all throughout the diner.
My people are the older clientele, and they went through, the end of the Depression and everything, so they don't want anything bad to happen again.
The pressure of rising costs also being felt among staff.
We might shuffle around to 2 or 3 different stores to get eggs cheaper than what we're having to pay from our food vendor. And so product is scarce. Our freezers are not overflowing.
With limited staffing and uncertainty about the economy, diner ownership says they've considered closing down. Instead, they're clinging on to hope.
Just that it will get better, and I think it will. I think it's just going to take a little while.
The trade war continues to escalate. Earlier today, China announced retaliatory tariffs against the United States. Well, tax day is right around the corner, April 15th. The new data shows fewer Americans have filed their federal tax returns compared to this time last year. As of March 21st, the IRS had received nearly 1 million fewer returns, and requests for extensions are up as well. Experts say this isn't necessarily unusual, but the slowdown comes amid concerns about declining revenue collection and internal shakeups at federal agencies, including Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. Well, the city of Joplin unveils a brand new mural celebrating the city's long history with Route 66. That story's coming up. A new mural honoring the Route 66 centennial is unveiled in Joplin's Route 66 Mural Park. The piece, created by artist Andy Thomas, features 25 landmarks from the Route 66 tri-state corridor. Mayors and tribal leaders from Missouri, Kansas, and Oklahoma joined Joplin Mayor Keenan Cortez for the ceremony.
Murals depicting Route 66, the natural thing was to have a road tie everything together. So I routed the road through the artwork and started placing objects in it. And it doesn't exactly depict the actual route, it does a little more loop-to-loop, but that was the idea.
The mural is now a permanent addition to Joplin's Route 66 Mural Park. Well, the Tarzan Zerbini Circus is back and kicking its season off right here in the 4 states. Those who can attend will enjoy all of the circus trademarks, including popcorn, cotton candy, and a ton of entertainment. The circus brings out Patty the Elephant, Trapeze, and the Wheel and Dome of Death.
Hands down, it is the oldest form of family entertainment. We're older than baseball. I mean, it's been around for over 250 years, and it's a great time for families to come together, put the phone down, and just enjoy live entertainment. I mean, you're literally feet away from the entertainment and the entertainers risking their lives for you.
Shows will continue tomorrow and Sunday. You can get your tickets online or at the door. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Coming up, the U.S. says it's ready to partner with Greenland if it declares independence, but Denmark isn't backing down. Now, what sparks this Arctic standoff? And markets tumble worldwide as tariffs shake Wall Street. How the White House is responding to growing economic fears.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
It's shaping up to be another bad day on Wall Street as the markets react to President Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs. And China, one of our biggest trading partners, is retaliating. Fox's Rebecca Castor has the latest from Washington.
For the second day in a row, stocks plummet at the opening bell. The Dow Jones, S&P 500, and NASDAQ once again dropping between 2 and 4% during early trading. But President Trump says he's not surprised.
I mean, it's to be expected where this is a patient that was very sick. We really inherited a terrible economy, as you know, with a lot of problems.
Investors are pulling back big time after Trump announced his massive tariff plan on Wednesday. He slapped a 10% baseline tax on all foreign goods with higher rates for countries with the largest trade deficits.
I'm really quite fearful that things are coming apart. Well, time shall tell, of course, but I think it's a fully fledged bear market.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine because this is 2 days. We're talking about 2 days of sell-off, not erasing 2 years of gains.
The sell-off is sweeping the globe, with markets plunging across Europe and Asia.
Donald Trump has single-handedly created a financial forest fire.
Their economies are not crashing. Their markets are reacting to a dramatic change in the global order in terms of trade. Once they know what the rules are, they will adjust to those rules.
China is getting ready to hit back, though, announcing it will impose a 34% tariff on all U.S. goods starting April 10th. Trump reacting to that news this morning, posting, "China played it wrong. They panicked, the one thing they cannot afford to do." The latest jobs report is a silver lining for the Trump White House, though. March beat expectations, adding 228,000 jobs. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
The head of the National Security Agency has been handed a pink slip. General Timothy Haw, who was also in charge of the military's offensive and defensive cyber unit, was dismissed by the Trump administration. Haw's NSA deputy, Wendy Noble, has also been fired. The top Democrats on the House and Senate Intelligence Committees blasted the decision. No official word has been given on what led to the removals, and the NSA and Cyber Command declined to comment on the issue. President Trump says he wants Greenland, and Denmark says it's their territory, and the Greenlanders want independence. And it all came to a head at a high-stakes NATO meeting on Friday. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera has more from Washington.
Well, no one's annexed anything. It's going to be up to Greenlanders.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio delivering a stern response to his Danish counterpart as the war of words over Greenland intensifies. President Trump is still refusing to rule out the use of military force to acquire the territory.
We
need Greenland, very importantly, for international security.
And on Thursday, an otherwise cordial meeting between Rubio and the Danish foreign minister turned slightly contentious when the subject of Arctic security came up.
I took the opportunity to very strongly object to claims and presidential statements of a vision of acquire Greenland.
But Rubio said Friday the Danish government is misrepresenting what the U.S. is trying to do and reminded foreign ministers at the NATO summit that most residents of Greenland are in favor of independence.
Denmark should focus on the fact that the Greenlanders don't want to be a part of Denmark.
Rubio also says if Greenland makes a move to declare independence, the U.S. would stand ready to, quote, create a partnership with a new government. Denmark's prime minister says that type of coercion won't work and the country will continue to defend all of its territory.
When you ask of us to strengthen security in the Arctic, we are on the same page. But when you demand to take over a part of the kingdoms of Denmark territory, you know that we don't give in.
The Danish government says it is open to a U.S. military expansion in Greenland, including the building of new space and missile defense bases. In Washington, Mather Rivera, Fox News.
Lindsay is next with another look at your forecast. Plus, a rescue robot that grows like a vine and a dog that survived a 100-foot fall. How did they both beat the odds?
Well, it's been a really active week and we're still seeing a lot of rainfall. So taking a look outside downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex, you can still see a lot of rain there on the camera, though most of our heavier rain is out to the east of us. You can see the hail reports from earlier from that one little system kind of moving through. But as we get through the rest of the night, we're gonna stay pretty calm. However, heavy rain picks up pretty early in the morning, and this line is still wreaking havoc across Arkansas into Illinois down to Texas as well. So the front of that storm is still dropping a couple of tornadoes, and we've been seeing a lot of that. We had a couple severe thunderstorm warnings in our area. Luckily, as we head into the next 24 hours, we are seeing a ton of rainfall, however, not a severe threat. So you can see by 7 a.m. until 1 p.m., we have rain chances kicking off, heavy rainfall, but it starts to taper off a little bit towards the evening, and temperatures are also going to be very cold. So we're only getting down to mid to lower 40s this evening and into tomorrow night, but we're warming up only to about 46, 47 for the high. So it's not going to be too warm tomorrow. We've got a lot of rain that's kind of keeping us rather cool. So you can see 46 by 6 a.m., 7 a.m., starting to see some of those showers pushing in. Heavy rainfall then moves in. Heaviest will stay again south of I-44, and we've already seen a flood watch until 7 p.m. and that flash flood warning that's in the Monette area down to the Bella Vista area. So all through there, a couple of counties going to continue to see that flash flood be imminent throughout this next system that's moving through, but it is just going to be this heavy rainfall. A lot of the northwest kind of steering clear from the heaviest of the rain, and then we're heading into Sunday morning where we're going to see another round of moderate to heavy rain, and then kind of switching over to a little bit of the snow mixed in with the rain as these temperatures are dropping down below and around freezing. So by 6 a.m., 35 in Joplin, 36 in Parsons, 34 in Miami, and then we're starting to see maybe a little bit of those snow flurries mixing in along I-44 and then south of I-44, where we're seeing temperatures drop down to about 33, 32 degrees. And that's going to continue until about noon when temperatures finally start to warm back up into the 40s. And then the high for the day getting into the mid to upper 40s yet again. Now, none of that snow is going to stick. It's going to melt and just kind of add to this additional rain amounts that we're going to see, the rain totals. Now, again, northern counties, we're really not going to see a lot more rainfall, but central, right along north of I-44, another half of an inch to an inch of rain, and then south of I-44, another inch to an inch and a half of rain. Temperatures remain pretty cold, and like I said, we've got that flood potential through Saturday, and then Sunday morning, we might see those flurries. Now, temperatures are going to warm up after this, and we also have a nice long stretch of sunny days. So by Monday morning, back into the 60s, still slightly below average, but quickly warming up. Upper 60s Tuesday, mid 70s on Wednesday, another little cool down there on Thursday, but back into the 70s and 80s by next weekend. Plus, like I said, long stretch of sunny skies. So we're like trying to pack up 2 weeks of rainfall, severe weather, and winter weather all into a 4-day span. So we've earned a nice long stretch of sunny skies, in my opinion.
I'm looking forward to it, for sure. Thanks, Lindsay. Coming up in sports, Miami High School hires a new head softball coach, plus the St. Louis Cardinals play with their first road game of the year. Ben McLeish has those stories and more up next.
Miami High School softball has gone to the 4A state tournament 2 of the last 3 years. The Lady War Dogs have had a ton of success recently, and Miami School District announces last night that Kelsey Henry is the new head softball coach for the Lady War Dogs. She was a 4-year starter for the Miami softball team as a student before graduating in 2014. That was just the beginning of Henry's softball journey. She then played at Southwest Baptist until 2018 before returning to Miami as an assistant coach. Most recently, Henry has been the head softball coach at Afton for 3 years and Berry Hill for 2 more. Pretty much all of our high school and college baseball and softball games in our area get postponed today due to weather. But in Major League Baseball, the Cardinals play on. The Redbirds are in Boston for their first road game of the season. Cardinals take on Boston. It's the Red Sox 2025 home opener. Bottom of the first inning, Trevor Story crushes this pitch over the Green Monster and gone for a 3-run homer. His second of the year, Boston leads 4-0. Next pitch, Wilyer Abreu hits one high and deep the other way, and that gets out as well. Red Sox go back-to-back and lead 5-0. Ivan Herrera knows a thing or two about hitting home runs. He had 3 on Wednesday, and in the 4th, he has this St. Louis has a 3-run shot. It brings them within 2, but the Red Sox just keep scoring. In the 7th, Rafael Devers hits one back up the middle. A run scores. They lead 11-6 at this point. The Cardinals score 3 runs in the 9th, but it's not enough. They lose to the Red Sox 13-9. Well, we're less than 24 hours away from March Madness's Final Four, and despite the lack of upsets and Cinderellas, it's been a historic year. For the first time since 2008, it's only 1 seeds. Only the second time that's happened in NCAA history. Auburn and Houston look for their first championships in program history, but no matter who wins, a head coach will be cutting down the nets for the first time. Florida's Todd Golden, Auburn's Bruce Pearl, Houston's Kelvin Sampson, and Duke's John Shire fight for their first title, although Shire did win one with Duke as a player. So despite this tournament being one of the most predictable in recent memory, don't sleep on this Final Four. It's going to be a special one.
And you're rooting for?
I'll be rooting for the Florida Gators, of course.
Auburn's a great choice. Yeah, I think, no, I'm kidding. Yeah, I think, you think they have the best chance to win?
You know, right now I will have to say unbiased, Duke looks like the best team in the tournament. But let's not forget, it's March Madness. Anything can happen. All these teams are really good.
All right. We'll look forward to it. Back with more after this. A popular killer doll gets an upgrade and a legendary singer opens up his music vaults. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has all of the latest in this Hollywood Nation.
How is this possible? We deleted it.
Megan reboots, Freddie returns, and the boss rewinds in the Hollywood Nation.
This is Tracks 2.
Bruce Springsteen is sharing unreleased music with Tracks 2, The Lost Albums. It's a collection of 7 unheard records featuring 83 songs written and recorded between 1983 and 2018. One of the tracks, Rain in the River, is available now. The Lost Albums will be out June 27th. Sarah Silverman has a new Netflix stand-up comedy special. Postmortem features the comedian humorously discussing the darkest corners of her life, including the death of both her parents, planning their funerals, and cherishing the bittersweet experience of hearing her mother's last words. The show premieres May 20th. Speaking of Netflix, the streamer announced Fubar Season 2 will premiere June 12th and released first look images. Arnold Schwarzenegger reprises his role as veteran CIA operative Luke Brunner. He will face off with new villains, including an ex-lover threatening to destroy the world, played by Carrie-Anne Moss. Freddie and Friends shared a first look at their next chapter. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 features Josh Hutcherson, Elizabeth Lail, and Piper Rubio taking on new and returning murderous animatronics. The sequel arrives December 5th.
I know how to stop Amelia.
Plus, she's back, besties. The trailer for Megan 2.0 features the killer doll getting an upgrade and becoming an anti-hero as she takes down a military-grade weapon known as Amelia, who threatens the future of human existence. The second film slays into theaters June 27th. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. From all of us here, have a great night.